100 naira ko. Estamba seko.
It's another beautiful morning here in the city of Lagos. Good morning, Lagos. Nakwana, Lagos. Ekaro, Lagos. Otutuoma, Lagos. Just the Yoruba, the Hausa, the Igbo would actually say good morning in their dialects. Alright, it's Lagos this morning, and I welcome you all to Lagos this morning. It's to your girl Koforola Drew to me. Okay, you're welcome once again. Alright, so we'll be moving now to our headlines for today. Tinubu signs 2.17 trillion naira 2023 supplementary budget into law. Obi fought Tinubu over the 2.17 trillion naira supplementary budget. Court grants Emefiele bill. CBN warns against panic withdrawals, says old notes remain legal tenders. Uzodinma orders absent at peace accord as Diri silver clash. Then on business news, we have 1 trillion naira lost annually to poor maritime infrastructure. And foreign news, we have Netanyahu again rejects ceasefire without hostages. And lastly, on sports, we have Man United on the brink of Champions League exit. So those are our headlines in which we'll be actually taking one after the other once we're back from this short break. Let's go on a quick short break. We'll be right back.
100 naira ko. Estamba seko.
Alright, you're welcome back to Lagos this morning. It's still me here in the studio, Koforola Drew, okay? It's Lagos this morning where I'll be speaking from politics, business, foreign, and sport this morning with you all. And I hope that you stay with us to the end of the program. You're welcome once again. Okay, now let's move on into the story of today. We have Tinubu signs 2.17 trillion 2023 supplementary budget into law. The President Bola Tinubu on Wednesday had signed the 2023 supplementary budget of 2.17 trillion naira into law at the presidential villa in Abuja. Last Thursday, the Senate and the House of Representatives passed the 2.17 trillion naira 2023 supplementary appreciation bill after a third reading. Before the passage of the bill, the Senate adopted the report of the harmonized sittings of both red and green chambers on the 2023 supplementary appropriation bill as submitted by the chairman of the Appropriations Committee, Senator Solomon Olamilekan Adeola, the APC Ogun West. The bill expeditiously scaled readings in both upper and lower chambers as lawmakers said it was for the benefit of the country. Tinubu had written the National Assembly seeking the approval of the sum of 2 million and 117 trillion naira supplementary budget to address labor wage adjustment, security, and more. The president has also sent the 2024-2026 medium-term expenditure framework MTEF, and Fiscal Strategy paper to both chambers of the National Assembly. Recently, the Senate passed the 819 billion naira making provision for a 500 billion palliative package. Tinubu had said the supplementary bill was necessary for additional palliative measures, including wage awards. The Federal Executive Council (FEC), chaired by the President, on Monday approved the 2023 supplementary budget of 2.1 trillion naira. So this is our main topic for today's program. Tinubu signed 2.17 trillion naira 2023 supplementary budget into law. What do you think about it? And which actually takes us into the next story of today, as Obi actually fought Tinubu over the 2.17 trillion supplementary budget. And what does this say? The presidential candidate of Labour Party, Peter Obi, has supported the signing into law of the 2.17 trillion supplementary budget by President Bola Tinubu on Wednesday. In his reaction, he claimed in a statement that the president failed to consider certain emergencies and pressing needs of the country. He noted that going by the manner the budgetary allocations were done, it was obvious the president was unaware of the direst crisis in the country. Tinubu ascended to the supplementary budget at his office in the presidential villa, like I said earlier, in the presence of Senate President Godwin Emefiele, the Speaker, and the Speaker of the House of Representatives, Tajuddin Abbas. However, addressing State House correspondents on October 16, 2023, Baggudu said the largest chunk of 605 billion naira was earmarked for security to further enhance the capacity of the armed forces and security agencies to address current and emerging security challenges nationwide. Other items include 5.5 billion for the student loan scheme and over 616 billion naira in wage awards for civil servants to augment the heightened cost of living post subsidy. All right, so after the Tinubu actually signed the 2.17 trillion supplementary budget, Obi actually came and fought Tinubu over this, saying that the president had actually failed to consider certain emergencies and pressing needs of the country. So we know the drill. Let's drop our comments, let's drop our opinions on what we think about this story and the signing of Tinubu of the 2.17 trillion supplementary budgets. Let's move on to the next story we have for today. Court grants Emefiele bail. Emefiele's travel actually started when President Bola Tinubu suspended him as the Apex Bank chief on June 9, 2023, a day after the Department of State Services (DSS) confirmed that the embattled and suspended CBN chief was in its custody. After several legal fireworks by Emefiele counsels challenging its prolonged detention by the DSS, the secret police bowed to pressure on July 13, 2023, and announced the suspended Apex Bank chief had been charged to court. Okay, so what does this story has for us this morning, which is Justice Oluwakayode Adeniyi of the Federal Capital Territory High Court has granted former governor of the Central Bank of Nigeria (CBN) Godwin Emefiele bail. The judge ordered that Emefiele be released immediately to his lawyers, who were charged with the responsibility of producing him in court for his arraignment next week or at any other day. According to the judge, the ex-bank chief must also deposit his travel documents before the chief registrar of the court, pending his arraignment. The judge also pointed out that there must be an end to detention without trial. The court must also not overlook the fact that he has been in detention for 151 days and the federal government and the Attorney General of the Federation must abide by the court's order. The substantive motion on notice as well as preliminary objection was adjourned to November 17, 2023 for hearing. Okay, so the court has granted Emefiele bail, and then he has been actually ordered to deposit his travel document before the chief registrar of the court pending his arraignment. Okay, and that is that. Let's move on to the next story we have this morning, which is CBN warns against panic withdrawals, says old notes remain legal tender. Old notes remain legal tender. The Central Bank of Nigeria, CBN, has again assured Nigerians of sufficient naira notes in the country and warned against panic withdrawals. The Apex Bank, in a statement on Wednesday, reiterated that old and new naira notes remained legal tender for the avoidance of doubt, while reiterating that there are sufficient banknotes across the country for all normal economic activity. We wish to state unambiguous that every banknote issued by the Central Bank of Nigeria remains legal tender and should not be rejected by anyone as stipulated in Section 25 of the CBN Act 2007, said the CBN spokesperson Issa Abdulmin. Okay, so this is just saying that both the old notes and the new Nigerian notes is still illegal tender, is still acceptable, and then nobody is expected to actually reject the old naira notes, the old 1,000 naira notes, the 500 naira notes, and the 200 naira notes, because it's still acceptable, so it shouldn't be actually rejected. Accordingly, branches of the CBN across the country have been directed to continue to issue different denominations of old and redesigned banknotes in adequate quantities to deposit money banks for onward circulation to bank customers. We wish to restate that all denomination of banknotes issued by the CBN remain legal tender, just like I had said, in line with the Section 25 of the CBN Act 2007. No one should refuse to accept the naira as the means of payments. The Apex Bank also reaffirmed that there is sufficient stock of currency notes to facilitate normal economic activities. Last October, CBN Governor Godwin Emefiele announced plans to redesign the three highest, previous governor of the CBN, Godwin Emefiele, had announced the plans to actually design the three highest naira bills and asked Nigerians to deposit their old notes before January 31, 2023, when they would cease to be legal tender. The naira crunch caused economic turmoil as many Nigerians suffered hardship. I mean, they were issued of cashless, the Nigerians called it cashless policy, that people had to start making transfer to maybe board balls to get something in the market, because a lot of Nigerians were still with their old naira notes, which the previous governor of CBN has actually told them that there will be a certain time that it will cease to be legal tender. The Apex Bank subsequently said that then President Muhammadu Buhari had approved an extension of the deadline for the naira swap. Some then governors of the All Progressive Congress (APC) dragged the CBN and the federal government to the Supreme Court, and the Apex Court ruled in March 2023, and the old 200, 500, and 1,000 notes remain as legal tender until December 31st, 2023. So the old naira notes, the 1,000 old naira notes, 200 old naira notes, 500 old naira notes are still legal tender here in the country, and yes, so it is still legal. It is still a legal tender till December 31st, 2023, before it ceases to be a legal tender. So you can spend it and no one is actually allowed to actually refuse the old naira notes. And then moving on to the next story, we have Uzodinma orders absent at peace accord during silver clash. The candidate of the All Progressive Congress, Hope Uzodinma, who is the governor of Imo State, the candidate of the Labour Party, Altan Akonu, All Progressive Grand Alliance, Tony Ejiogu, and New Nigerian People's Party, Ben Ojonse, were absent as the National Peace Committee organized a peace accord meeting in Owerri, the state capital, on Wednesday for all the governorship candidates participating in the Saturday governorship election. However, in Bayelsa, the People's Democratic Party's candidate, Governor Joye Diri, and his APC counterpart, Timiri Pre Silva, engaged in a war of words shortly after signing the peace accord to commit to the peaceful conduct of Saturday's governorship election. Silva accused Diri of shocking violence, while the latter alleged that the APC candidate may have stockpiled arms in Okpokuma local government area. Also in Kogi State, 18 political parties participating in Saturday's governorship election signed the peace accord in Lokoja. In Imo, PDP's Samuel Ayanwu, who came to the peace accord after he observed that the candidates of the major political parties were not present. Though Uzodinma, Akonu, and Ayanwu sent their running mates, the organizers of the ceremony didn't allow them to sign the peace accord. The organizers said that the documents would not be signed by proxy. Although the chairman of the APC and LP signed the document, that of the PDP was absent. The candidate of the Social Democratic Party, Bright Ekwebelem, Action Democratic Party, Steve Nwoga, Action Alliance, Jacogun Ewe, and other candidates were present and signed the peace accord in Owerri. Uzodinma's running mate, Chinyere Ekomaru, who was not allowed to sign the peace accord, left after a party chairman, McDonald Ebere, signed the dotted lines. And that is that, and that's news story. And then let's quickly go on a short break, and when we're back, we move to the hottest stories of the day. You stay with us. It is Lagos this morning. You're welcome back to Lagos this morning, and in case you're just joining us, you haven't missed a lot though, but I think like you've missed a lot actually. So you're welcome back to Lagos this morning. It's you, your girl Koperola Jotimi, okay, on the program, on the studio this morning. And yes, we've discussed about the signing out. Tinubu actually signed a 2.17 trillion 2023 supplementary budget into law, and then how Obi actually fought Tinubu of the 2.17 supplementary budget, saying that he has failed, that is, the president has failed to consider certain emergencies and pressing needs of the country. In case you're just joining us, don't forget to actually drop your comments on this stories, what you think about this. All right, let's take a quick some comments from the comment section here. Gideon says, good morning, Kofo. Good morning to you, Gideon. Good to have you on the program. How do you do? Then Gideon also says, Obi should rest, I beg. Okay. Majid, good morning, Kopo. How are you doing today? I'm good, Majid. Good morning. Good to have you on the program. Emma Samuel says, hello, Kopo. How are you? I'm good. Very well. Thank you very much for joining the program this morning. Good to have you all on the program. All right, don't forget to actually drop your comments on what we are discussing this morning. Tinubu signs the 2.17 trillion 2023 supplementary budget into law, and then we'll be forth in on that. Let's drop our review, let's drop our comments, and then let's move on to the next story we have this morning. 1 trillion lost annually to poor maritime infrastructure, others say ship owners. Nigerian ship owners have said that the country's maritime sector is losing about 1 trillion naira annually due to poor infrastructure. The immediate past president of the Ship Owners Association of Nigeria, Greg Ogbeifun, said this on Tuesday in Lagos at a national discourse with distinguished maritime personalities organized by Maritime Nigeria Limited. Speaking during the event, Ogbeifun said that the Nigeria is losing an estimated $1 trillion annually in the entire shipping sector due to lack of vessels, infrastructure, human capacity, and cargo carriage. In his words, this country is losing close to 1 trillion naira in the entire shipping sector, both infrastructure, human capacity, and cargo carriage. That is what he said. Ogbeifun is also the Chief Executive Officer of SARS Marine and Engineering Limited, called on the private sector in the shipping subsector to establish platforms to help actualize the policies in the sector. He said the President Bola Tinubu has done the right thing by separating the maritime industry from the Ministry of Transportation. Also speaking, the president of the Nigerian Indigenous Ship Owners Association, Shola Adewumi, represented at the event by the Public Relations Officer of NISA, Bolawan Adu, called on the stakeholders in the maritime sector to accommodate the younger generation of Nigerians into the sector. In his welcome speech, convener of the discourse, Calvin Kagbure, appealed against the establishment of universities and institutions in maritime and transportation. Alright, then let's have the next news for today, which is, again, and this is a foreign news, again, Netanyahu rejects ceasefire without hostages release. The Israeli Prime Minister Benjamin Netanyahu again rejected the prospect of a ceasefire in Gaza on Wednesday amid reports of negotiation for a temporary truce with Hamas. A source close to Hamas earlier said talks were underway for the release of a dozen hostages held by the Islamists, including 6 Americans, in return for a 3-day ceasefire in Gaza. In Netanyahu's words, he said, "I did like to put to rest all kinds of false rumors we are hearing from all kinds of directions and reiterate one clear thing: there will be no ceasefire without the release of our hostages." The source close to Hamas had said the pause in fighting were being brought to enable Egypt an extended period of time to deliver humanitarian aid and let Hamas release the 12 hostages. There is disagreement around the time period and around the north of the Gaza Strip, which is witnessing extensive combat operation, the source says. Earlier Wednesday, a separate source briefed on the talks said Qatar was mediating negotiation in coordination with the US to free 10 to 15 hostages in exchange for a one-day ceasefire. Fighting has raged in Gaza for over a month following Hamas' shock October 7 attack that killed more than 1,400 people, mostly civilians, and took 239 hostages, according to Israeli authorities. In Gaza, 10,569 people, also mostly civilians, have been killed in Israel's retaliatory military campaign to destroy Hamas. The health ministry in the Hamas-run Palestinian territory has said Qatar has been engaged in intense diplomacy to secure the release of those held by Hamas, negotiating the handover of 4 hostages, 2 Israelis and 2 Americans, in recent weeks. And following reports on the latest negotiations, the Hostages and Missing Persons Families Forums said it welcomed the return of each and every hostage. However, any move towards a ceasefire should include the release of all hostages from Gaza, the group said in a statement. Alright, so that's just an update on the whole war going on between the Gaza and Israel. So Benjamin Netanyahu, who is the prime minister of Israel, of the Israelis, said that there is no ceasefire without hostages release. Alright, it's still Lagos this morning. Don't forget to actually leave your comments on any of the stories we are discussing. This is why we are here, to air your opinions, to air your views. Okay, now let's move on to sport news. What does the sport news have for us this morning? Man United on brink of Champions League exit after Copenhagen collapse. The Manchester United on the brink of an early exit from the Champions League after blowing a 2-0 lead to lose 4-3 on Wednesday to FC Copenhagen as Marcus Rashford was sent off in the Danish capital. Rasmus Højlund looked to have come back to haunt his former club by scoring twice inside half an hour. But Rashford's sending off swung the destiny of the match and possibly sealed United's fate with a 3rd defeat in 4 games in Group A. Mohamed and Diogo Goncalves from the penalty spot leveled for Copenhagen before halftime. So the Manchester United actually lost to FC Copenhagen after their 2-0. They lost to them with 4-3 after their 2-0 score, before Rashford was actually given a red card. So these are our stories for this morning, and then let's now come back to the main headline this morning, which is okay, no calling. Let's take a quick comment. No calling line. Okay, can we have calling line? A link will actually be sent in case we want to. Okay, it seems we can't have any calling line, but do tell us, drop your views. Let's hear you out. Trust me, be assured that I'm going to read your view out. So kindly drop your view on any of the stories we had I have spoken on this morning. Comments, let's hear your views, share your views with us, and I'm more than willing to hear your views. Okay, so let's come back to the main topic, the main issue of the day, which is Tinubu signs 2.0 All right, you're welcome back. We apologize for the break in transmission. Okay, so this morning there won't be any calling line. However, if you want to call in on the program, a number will be dropped now for us to call in. So Adegunwani, you can actually call in by the number that will be posted now on the screen. All right, so let's dive into the main story of the day. Tinubu signs the 2.17 trillion 2023 supplementary budget into law. Last Thursday, the Senate and the House of Representatives passed the 2.17 trillion 2023 appropriation bill after a third reading. Before the passage of the bill, the Senate adopted reports of the harmonized sittings of both red and green chambers on the 2023 supplementary appropriation bill as submitted by the chairman of the Appropriations Committee in person of Senator Solomon Olamilekan Adeola. Tinubu actually had written the National Assembly seeking the approval of the sum of the 2.17 trillion as the 2023 supplementary budget to address labor wage adjustment, security, and more. The Tinubu had said supplementary bill was necessary for additional palliative measures, including wage awards. The Federal Executive Council (FEC), chaired by the president on Monday, actually approved the 2023 supplementary budget of 2.1 trillion naira. Yes. So that's it. Let's hear your view. Let's comment. Let's get your views. Let's air your views. All right, now a number has actually been pasted there, so you can call in through that number. I hope you got that. Adegunwani. I hope you got that. All right. So following the signing done by Tinubu of the supplementary budget into law, Obi actually fought Tinubu on that. He says that in his reaction, he claimed that the president has actually failed to actually consider the certain emergency and pressing needs of the country. He noted that going by the manner the budgetary allocations were done, it was obvious that the president was unaware of the direct crisis in the country. Tinubu has entered to the supplementary budget at his office in the presidential villa, Abuja, in the presence of Senate President Godswill Akpabio, the Speaker of the House of Representatives, Tajuddin Abbas. However, addressing State House correspondents on October 16, 2023, Bagadu said that the largest chunk of 605 billion naira was earmarked for security to further enhance the capacity of the armed forces and security agencies to address current and emerging security challenges nationwide. Other items include 5.5 billion naira for the student loan scheme and over 616 billion in wage award for civil servants to augment the heightened cost of living post subsidy. So that is that on that story. Those are the two things we'll actually be discussing this morning. Don't forget to actually comment what you think about this program. I mean, what you think about this story. And there is a number there on your screen for you to call in the program to hear your views. Let's hear your opinion. Don't forget that it's Lagos this morning here on your screen, and it's your girl Kofrola. Draw to me, okay? And our main headline this morning is Tinubu actually signed 2.17 trillion supplementary budget into law. Okay. So that is that and that. We are starting to come to the end of the program for today, and be rounding up soon. In the meantime, let's not forget to drop your comments, drop your reviews. Let's hear you. You can decide to call in as well. You can call in at 08150358972. 08150358972. Okay. As much as we'd love to stay longer on the program with us, apparently the time is not really on our side. I had a nice time here in the studio, and I trust you did. You see Lagos This Morning. Do not forget to tune in to Lagos This Morning every morning, Monday to Friday, where myself and my partner Hebuka, in this sense, would be coming here to, speak on politics, business, entertainment, foreign, and every other news that we think will be fit for us to hear of. Alright, it's still Lagos This Morning, and it's still me, Koperola Drotimi. It's a new day, it's a bright new day. Let's not forget that we should stay safe and always be good at all times. Alright, till our paths meet each other here again. It's still Lagos This Morning, and I am Koperola Drotimi. Have a nice day.
100 naira ko, let's go. Naira ko, let's go.